Wir haben hier einen X-Men-Fan. Davon ist vielleicht ein Viertel passiert. Aber nicht so. In der echten Welt sterben Menschen.
Logan.
Ich will nicht darüber reden.
Logan.
Hören Sie auf!
So, first of all, I really liked the film. Yeah, and it's been great to see your Logan for the last time in this very powerful standalone movie with also a very human story. So for you, how was it like to explore the character you've been playing for so long for this movie?
Jim Mangold and I sat down and we started etching stuff out, and then he went off and wrote the script, and I was amazed by it. But this is personal to me. I knew this was my last time. It really mattered to me that it was exactly the type of portrayal of this character in a world that I believed he should live in, that I felt deep down was the definitive story about this character, and I feel we did that. So on one level I feel it's a love letter to the fans, because I hear from the fans every day of my life and I intuit what they really want to see out of this character, and I feel this is it. But I was really focused on telling a story with Jim, making a movie that was for people who'd never seen a comic book movie.
Sie ist wie du, fast genau wie du.
Ich bin nicht das, wofür auch immer du mich hältst.
Daphne Keane, she's doing an amazing job as X-23. So how was it to work with her as this mutant child that has the same powers?
She was a revelation, to be honest. I mean, she's an amazing, very normal, like 11-year-old kid. Actually, she's not normal. She's got an old soul about her, and her parents, Maria and Will, are both actors, and both of them fantastic people, and she's very grounded. But her ability and her work ethic, her love of what she does is pretty extraordinary for her age. And her performance is astonishing. I mean, it's a very, very difficult thing for anyone to pull off. I don't want to give it away, but she doesn't speak for the majority of the movie. And yet you feel and you go along with that character the entire time.
Sie braucht unsere Hilfe.
Es wird jemand kommen.
Jemand ist gekommen.
My job in many ways is to think about, when you think about your characters and you're writing the movie, you try to think about what are they most frightened of and how will I confront them with it. And in this case, I think, you know, when I think about Wolverine, I think he's not frightened of death, he's not frightened of the world being destroyed or some supervillain, but he's scared of love. He's frightened of intimacy, he's frightened of being vulnerable and emotionally. And so while the movie has big action and villains and chases, at the core of the movie is confronting a character who is terrified of being close, having to do that for the first time.
So sieht das wahre Leben aus. Menschen, die einander lieben. Ein Zuhause.
For nearly 20 years, Charles has been the father figure to Logan. In fact, there is a line in the film where I say to him, I gave you a family. But now the roles have been reversed, and the fathering is being performed by Logan. Not all the time, because interestingly in this movie, it moves backwards and forwards. That, I think, for both of us was fascinating, as were those moments when Charles, who has always been a paragon of security, of good counsel, of wisdom and empathy, becomes a volatile and dangerous creature. That part of him I found particularly interesting to play.
And we finally get to see Wolverine in an R-rated movie.
Yes.
So for you, what was the most important that you could achieve through the freedoms that came with the rating?
We wanted to make a film that really told the story of this man whose much of his life had been around violence, and what is the effect of violence. He's created it as a weapon, so the ultimate sort of destructive force. So we didn't want it to be defined by just blood and guts, or violence for violence sake, but more the dramatic tone. And one movie that was a huge inspiration for me with this was Unforgiven. And if you watch that movie back, there is violence, but it's not as graphic, it's more unsettling, and that's sort of what we wanted here. Not just the violence, but just the tones, the level of relationships we get into. We thought this is an adult movie.
Nein. Nein. Nein.
Ach du Scheiße.
I think it's a really fitting and proper farewell for the character. But still, and we just talked about that it's the last movie, but still I have to ask, because that guy Deadpool came along, would there be any chance you would reconsider to come back?
No, the timing is slightly off there because I love Deadpool and Ryan is a good mate of mine and he's fantastic. I kind of wish this had all happened 10 years ago, but I knew 2 years ago that this was my last one and it was the right time, and I think anyone who sees the movie can feel that this is it.
And you said last year in an interview that this might be the last time you play Professor X. What are your thoughts about the future of the X-Men and what would be necessary for you to maybe get back to the role?
Well, if something as full of quality and interest and meaning as Logan came along, then certainly I would be happy to consider it, if it was about Charles Xavier.
Du hast immer noch Zeit. Zwei Tage unterwegs, nur eine Mahlzeit und fast keinen Schlaf. Sie ist 11 und ich verdammte 90.